A for-profit corporation is an organization which aims to earn profit through its operations and is concerned with its own interests, unlike those of the public. Non-profit corporation structure. A for-profit corporation is usually an organization operating in the private sector which sets aims that eventually help the organization itself. This kind of a company makes shares of ownership available to the general public. The purchasers of those shares then become the company's shareholders. Shareholders have bought a portion of ownership of the corporation by giving away certain amount of money, differentiating from company to company, or assets of a particular value. Such organizations are usually not aided by the government as they are working for private financial gains, unlike a non-profit organization, which exists to serve a mission. The nature of a for-profit corporation is such that it is required to pay applicable taxes and register with the state. Any donation which they receive will also be subject to the tax policies of the concerned country. As these organizations are all corporations and have a separate identity from their owners, the owners are not in their personal capacity required to satisfy any debts which the company might owe to anyone. Aims. Unlike non-profit organizations, the policies of these organizations are usually profit-oriented. Managers. Corporate employees here have a profit-oriented mindset and aim at maximizing the revenue of the firm, which in turn contributes to the dividends. In case of public limited, or profits of the shareholders, owners, their aim can be accompanied by a goal of serving the society. However, that usually happens in cases of B corporations. Popular models. A for-profit corporation generally does mean an organization seeking profit. However, it has both modern forms and is also close to some other types of organizations as seen below. B corporations. A modern form of profit corporations exists in the form of B corporations. A number of for-profit corporations have opted to gain this status. Most organizations get this certificate in order to show their concern for the society. A benefit corporation does aim to gain profit but also believes in playing a role for the society, in terms of considering the environment of the society when crafting its policies. Their status is actually issued by a non-profit organization called B Labs. They are accepted as legal entities in several states of the United States, and legislations have been passed to ensure the legal status. Proximity to LLCs. A for-profit corporation can also be seen in context of a limited liability company, as both of them have a very similar function. Both of them are common in a way, as stakeholders in a for-profit corporation are called shareholders, whereas a person who has stakes in a limited liability company is referred to as a member. Subsequently, while corporations have a very defined hierarchy from corporate employees to board members, advantages to the economy. As these organizations aim to maximize profit, they can be very healthy in an economy, as the more they earn, the greater is the amount they pay in taxes. That tax is eventually spent back on the people. Such corporations have the capacity to grow at a very fast rate, and this eventually leads them to employing more people, lowering the employment burden on the government. Their profit maximization motive also means that they will work on their productivity and will contribute to the GDP of any country they are living in. A higher GDP often leads to a higher living standard to the business. As the corporation only works for its own interest, it gets the opportunity to isolate itself from all worldly matters and do what is best for itself. Here the grip of the owners can also be greater on the business, as they have the free choice of making investments and decisions which will generate the greatest revenue for their business. Here they would not be obliged to consider any outer factor, welfare, while designing policies. More profit also means that they can invest the profit back to the business and increase its speed of growth. Difference between profit and not-for-profit. The major distinction between these two organizations can be derived from their names, as a non-profit organization does not seek any profit, does not pay any taxes, as it works for the welfare of the society and reinvests any surpluses earned back to the business. In contrast, a for-profit corporation has no legal duty, obligation of working for the welfare of anyone but itself. This is the reason why a for-profit organization is not exempted any tax. Subsequently, at times running a not-for-profit corporation can be more difficult. Although both for and not-for-profit need a good decision-making body, however, the aspect of serving the public puts an extra responsibility on the members of the board. Legal parameters. All for-profit corporations in the United States fall under the jurisdiction of the Corporations Tax Act 2009. These companies are considered to be active for corporation tax purposes. This includes these corporations as they are trading or offering services charged to others, investing, and are also dealing with the inflow and outflow of income. Similarly, the owners can also not be taken to the courts for some wrong committed by the company. The company can be represented by a lawyer in a court of law. However, like any other corporation, it cannot represent itself in a court.